Hey everyone, thanks for listening to the Grow Your Life podcast. My name is Jeremiah Krakowski, and on this podcast we talk about ways for you to grow in your life and your business. Right now I'm traveling with my family, and so that's why I'm filming here at our Airbnb location. One of the things I wanted to address here today is something that I noticed that stops a lot of people from succeeding is the fear of failure, and it goes beyond just, something not working out. It really has more to do with our desire for control than anything else. And even as I sit here thinking about this podcast, just about an hour ago, I was struggling to come up with what I was going to talk about in this podcast, and immediately it hit me. My own fear of it not being good enough, it not resonating with people, it not connecting was stopping me from recording and connecting with people because I was concerned that it might be a waste of time, it might not land right, and I get caught up in my head with these thoughts. These are old thoughts that used to come in that, quite frankly, I've addressed previously, but I still have to combat them every time I record a podcast, do a course, do a training, do really anything in my business to impact people. And that fear of failure we have to address. Otherwise, it will defeat us. It will stop us from even putting ourselves out there. And what it is the root of it is not really fear of failure. It's fear of being out of control. It's fear of wasted time. It's fear of things not going how we want them to. And that's the root of it, is not that we're actually afraid of failing, because really failing does nothing in the first place. It's what does it mean about us? It's that we would rather things be successful, and so because of that, we do what's safe and we avoid things not going a certain way. And we have to address those. We have to address what is the root cause behind that. Why do we need to feel like we're in control 24/7 of everything? Why does everything have to go our way? Why does everything have to succeed? Where did we come up with this belief that I'm only going to take action if I know 100% of the time that it's going to produce a result? And that's something that I used to really struggle with, and I used to pride myself in, is things that I did always produced great results, that I didn't waste time in my life or my business, and that pride that I had, that everything worked out for me, that what it was I was always operating inside of a framework of what I could control. Now, obviously, there's a level of control when it comes to business. Being a business owner, you have control over things that you do and don't do. But if you're not getting sales, if you're not getting leads in your business, if you're not getting new people in front of you, and if you're not working to close those sales, all you're doing is operating, letting everything else outside you run you. That's all that's happening. Is you're letting what might not work out stop you from putting yourself out there. You're letting what might not go exactly how you want it to prevent you from the possibilities of things going well for you. And I see this happen for people is they'll procrastinate months and months and even years at a time, not putting their business out there, not launching something, not taking what could be an incredible thing that impacts people's lives, changes their income, because, well, what if it doesn't work out? And I would challenge you to say, well, what if it does work out? And maybe you've heard that before, but I want to challenge you deeper. Where did that root come from that says, I demand success and cannot accept anything else? Now, in the macro, big picture, that's a great goal. That's awesome, right? I'm going to work towards my success, but realize success is always a series of success and failures. And that if we demand that we hit 100 every single time, I'm watching the baseball playoffs right now. These players, if you miss the ball 2 out of 3 times and you hit only 1/3 of your shots, you're an elite baseball player. You're an elite player at that level, okay? So realize that, we go out there in business and we think that we got to hit 100% of our shots, and that is so outside of the realm of truth. My experience, I've been in the mentoring and coaching business for 2 decades. Not everything that you're going to do is going to resonate. And then we go deeper into worrying and fear of, how are people going to judge us? Are they going to be disappointed? Are they going to like what we produce? Are they going to resonate with it? And it stops us from just experimenting, putting ourselves out there, just seeing what happens. And the worst thing that I see that happens is people justify it as integrity. They justify it as wisdom. They justify it as a spirit of excellence. That's just using clever, positive lingo to create reasons why you are choosing to not actually do what works. What actually works is what I've said: experimenting, being willing to fail, seeing failure as a learning experience, as a lesson along the way, as part of your market research, as part of the process of getting to where you want to go. You might say, well, I don't want to pour all this energy in and not produce results. Where did you come up with that belief that everything that you pour energy into must, the first time, produce the vision that you had, or you're going to be devastated? Where did that come from? I want you to challenge that. I want you to challenge that belief system internally that you're entitled to success the first time you do something, and that if things don't work out how you want, that you somehow are a failure and must avoid that happening. Challenge that. Challenge that thinking, because that's not a recipe for success. That is one of the mindsets that will prevent you from being successful, needing things to be 100%, needing things to only be exactly how you see them, instead of realizing that the process that we go through, the process of reaching our goals, has ups and downs, and that the downs are just as important as the ups, that the things not working out are just as relevant as the massive successes. This is the shift that most people won't talk about, that most people avoid. This is the hard part of entrepreneurship. The hard part isn't even doing the actual work itself. It's that we have to challenge the fact that, what if I do the work and it doesn't work out? And still doing it anyways. And still taking action, even if we don't know what's going to happen. Challenge the internal beliefs inside yourself. Challenge those beliefs that are saying, I can't take action unless I know for certain it's going to work out. And what is going on internally? Where was that decision first made? What are you trying to avoid? That's the real question to ask yourself. What are you trying to avoid happening in your life? Well, maybe some people might say, I don't want to lose money on Facebook ads. Let me answer that. What? People lose money driving to and from a job that they hate every single day, And yet we're afraid to, quote unquote, lose $150, $200 on Facebook ads. Testing, experimenting, seeing what happens. Where did that belief come in that I can only, quote unquote, make an investment if I can guarantee it's going to work, instead of it being part of the process to actually reach our goals? I've never seen a business owner who's successful operate with that thinking. I see a lot of people who struggle and never succeed with that thinking. The ones who are successful, they don't think that way. They don't worry about, is this going to work out? They do their very best to align things in a way that will work out positively for them. But they don't not put themselves out there out of trying to avoid things failing. And I think that this is one of the biggest mental shifts when it comes to successful entrepreneurs and when it comes to people who struggle, is this need for things to go our way. This need for things to align with exactly how, quote unquote, I see things working out. And if it doesn't, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to launch my offer. I'm not going to get leads. I'm not going to make a presentation unless I can guarantee that it's going to produce a result. That thinking is one of the biggest limiting factors when it comes to your life, when it comes to your business. We cannot let that thinking get us caught up in its web. It will spin you around. And then we get caught up in overthinking and overanalyzing and then talking ourselves out of, well, why, we can make things better and now's not the best time to be able to put ourselves out there and all that. When in fact you could have put something out there, experimented, seen the results, analyzed it, and had better data off of a failing campaign than trying to avoid the failure itself. That's how I see things. That's how successful business owners see things. That's how successful mentors and coaches see things, is they're not trying to avoid failure. We're so focused on experimenting, trying things out, seeing what people respond to, seeing what they take action with, loving the process, making connecting with other people being the most important part, instead of, quote unquote, making money, producing that result. Making money and producing a result is very important, but if that's your main focus, you're not going to put anything out there, and that's a problem. If your desire to make cash flow is that great that you won't even put something out there, that's a misappropriated focus on things. When I talk about making sales and marketing your most important priority, I'm talking about the fact that that's where you need to be putting your energy and selling and actually getting results. And actually, instead of focusing so much on client fulfillment, actually taking the time to get new clients. But if you're literally not even doing the work to get new clients because you're so stuck on trying to make everything perfect and we're afraid of failing and we don't want things to not go our way, that is an issue we need to address, and we need to look at what is beneath the surface. What is going on inside of us? Where did that belief system come in? What are we trying to avoid? And when you start to really get clear on those things, and we start to say, I'm going to change that behavior. That is no longer how I'm going to operate. I'm going to have an experimentation mindset. I'm going to be willing to put myself out there, even if things don't work out perfectly. That shift will change everything for you, so you can start to make the kind of money that you know is possible for you. Because that's exactly what's happened for me. And for the business owners that I know who are successful, that's exactly how they got there. All right? Listen, if this podcast has helped you, share it with somebody. Jump onto one of our live events and listen, get on the waiting list for our Client Growth Accelerator group mentorship program when we open the doors to it. It's one of the best group mentorship programs out there, helping coaches, mentors, and trainers scale their businesses and make 6 and 7 figures online. Talk soon.